And welcome to Strength Hammer Podcast, episode 128. You may notice that this is not Alex flexing as usual up above me. That's because he's in Norway. He's on vacation. He did like 12 posts about being on vacation, so you should probably know that by now. we
No,
got
no young men here.
no, only old men.
Well, maybe one out of two, but
I don't know. I'm gonna be 39 next week. You're what, 44 as of yesterday?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
With Alex
Well,
not here, we might as well just be doing Napoleonics, Neil.
oh my God. Have we fallen that far?
I've already done Napoleonic, so yeah, I'm down, man. I'm no. Alex is having a great time in Norway. I can't wait to hear about his adventures. I hope he finds a Warhammer store just so
Mhm.
he can have content for the podcast for his hobby time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Be good. We'll excited. Hopefully we'll get him back next week. I don't know because I'm traveling next week and it's gonna be tight recording things.
It's all right. Well, the most important podcast is happening right now.
That's right. Because tonight, after we do our little normal intros, we are going to be talking our full review, the Warhammer Arcane Journals High Elves. It's probably gonna end up being more of just a review of High Elves in general. Like I brought out the other book, just because we've played so many games. We're gonna dive in. We're gonna see how it plays. We're gonna do our full proper review, not our hot take. Neil looks intently at something, trying to figure out what he's doing.
I'm actually trying to pull up the Arcane Journal right
Oh,
here
okay,
because
gotcha.
I don't have a hard copy. Lucky ducky.
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet. I will have one as of the 15th when I go meet up with Big M. So
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Well, yeah, I guess to kick things off as usual, because there's not going to be any sort of fitness talk tonight other than I'm still working out regularly, and we're going to pretend like Neil's working out regularly.
and I'm fat. So there we are.
We got to ask, Neil. It's been a wild couple days of weather for us. How's your lawn doing?
How's my lawn doing? It was green for a minute, and now it is not again.
Hmm.
We just can't shake the white stuff here. So
Yeah, down here, like we're what, like I'd say like maybe an hour south of you, even though we're different, slightly different. It was beautiful yesterday. I'm talking, I didn't need a jacket, like 60 degrees almost. It was just like,
nice.
what? It was peaking. That was probably like 50, but it felt like 60.
Mm-hmm.
Woke up today, covered in snow. By the afternoon, it was all melted. I'm like,
Yep.
all right. So,
Yeah, you know what's funny is I was priming models yesterday in like this glorious weather, and I'm even telling people, "Hey, man, like today's the day, prime, you know, this and that," and that didn't last very long.
nope, you had a short window to get through the rest of this. But hey, if you primed, great. If you didn't, sorry, it's too late by the time you're listening to this.
Mm-hmm. There's a little foreshadowing to some hobby time too.
Yeah, sure is. I'm excited for that. Well, outside of that, though, tell you what, let's do some news before some hobby talk. It's only a little bit of news.
Okay.
So let me bring that up here. Boom. We have, and this is old news at this point, if we're honest. I think I missed it last week. We had some leaked Wood Elves and Beastmen. Even though this says Batsmen. That's a funny typo, I just realized, on the Reddit post here.
Mm-hmm.
But much like we saw the was Empire was kind of leaked out early. Someone was selling on eBay, clearly from England.
Yeah.
Then we had the High Elves. Now we have Wood Elves in these potato images.
I remember a time. I mean, they can be potato images all they want. We already know what these models look like.
Yeah, it's like yeah, whatever.
But there was a time where like, this can't be real. Somebody clearly photoshopped the back of it and just repackaged something. But no, these are since very much confirmed that these are in fact.
Yeah, somebody is getting these things early, and I don't know who, but
Well, I think they saw there is some type of Asian writing on the back of something or whatever, and so it's clearly coming from more than likely China is
Sure,
where
fair.
we're getting things from. So
hey, listen, I don't care who's doing it because it's fun for us to see it.
Mhm.
Apparently GW hasn't figured it out yet, or just doesn't care about Old World enough to do anything about it. Because I figured they'd be taken
if
down.
it's coming out of China, they probably can't do anything about it. That's the thing.
But I imagine they could go to eBay and say, "Hey, take that listing down."
Yeah, probably so. Yeah.
Oh well.
And then
Or maybe they're just like, "Hey, you know what? Everybody's having fun. Let them go. We're
Yeah,
still making
yeah.
money hand over fist with the old
And
world.
one of my favorite things about it is their old models. So it's not like it's a brand new model or something like that, and so somebody's like marking it way up. No, it's a nice price.
Yeah,
I can't argue with it. You
yeah.
know?
He's selling them at a reasonable cost. He's
So
hopefully getting them at a reasonable cost. It's all great.
it's ridiculous. I mean, come on.
The old world community is here to make sure we all can be involved.
That's right. That's right. We're all taking care of each other here.
Exactly.
Our brothers
Uh,
across the world.
yes. Oh, actually, a little bit of an exciting bit of tidbits on Facebook. My friend, a friend of the show, he's been on the show, and also just general great guy, Val Heffelfinger from the Square Base podcast, put
Mhm.
up a little post that I think he might be working in full. Like it was his desk scattered in books from all the editions. He may be trying to figure out some sort of comp, like tournament style comp. Obviously, he'd probably
Mhm.
use it in his S spots over there with him and Rob, what they're doing.
Sure.
Still, it's still fun to see. I know, like we've talked before, we have our own little local comp that we like to use.
Mhm.
But ours, I don't think our comp is very much a tournament style comp that we will put out there when we do kind of talk about it.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of fun to see that people love this game that much. That
Mhm.
said, I'm going to say it with a caveat that this could lead down to bigger and worse things where it's a nightmare, and I hate it.
Yeah.
Just like everything, it's
It's
yeah,
fine. I think everybody in any tournament scenario or any event scenario should be free to do whatever they want. Okay. And you can
yes,
always vote with your feet.
yep,
Okay. Whenever I ran events, that's what I expected people to do. If you did not like what I was doing, just don't show up. Okay? Don't buy
yep,
the ticket. That's fine. Like that is okay. All
yeah,
right.
yeah,
So we're going to try a thing. And if you don't like it, then that's okay. And if I don't get anybody showing up, it will tell me that that was not an okay thing to have tried. And maybe we'll do something different next time. But
exactly. But hey, I'm curious what he's gonna cook up. Just to see it how that kind of plays out, because like we're playing games left and right. And yeah, it's a good time. You and there's more games coming at
yeah.
beginning of April, buddy. Get ready.
Oh, you know what? Even before that, I'm doing a little RTT. This will be my
Oh, that's
first,
right.
unless you count, I don't know if I want to count it, the Terathi that where we did Old World. We did 8th edition.
No, no, no. That was Barnapalooza. That wasn't Terathi. Last Terathi
Okay,
was Age of
Barnapalooza.
Sigmar.
That's right. That's right.
So
Okay.
not Terathi.
Okay. Wow. I'm
That
getting
was
on
Old
myself.
World. That was Old World. Pure
It
straight
was
Old
Old
World.
World. It was technically match play. So
Yeah, it
I guess
was.
this will be my second fantasy uh, like RTT or event, like match play event. However, I knew everybody was playing,
Yeah.
so it's kind of cop out. This will be the first time I might play somebody I don't know. So we'll see
How
how
ex-
that goes.
how exciting.
I enter it very very trepidatiously. So
um yeah, I'm still jonesing to get out because the event that you're going to, I was going to go to it, except for they put it directly square on my wife's birthday, so that's a no go.
yeah, that's no fly zone. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I was going to try to do Val's running one up in Toronto, like a little 2-day event. I was going to try to go up and do that, and then I discovered it was Easter weekend, and also the weekend before or after, I'm going to be playing a Sigmar in Pittsburgh. I'm like,
Uh,
that's asking a lot. So I'm still waiting to go to like my first old world event where I will play people I don't know.
right.
But we'll get there when we get there. I'm looking forward to your experiences with it.
I am looking forward to I've heard some terrible things, terrible stories of years past of what Warhammer Fantasy could be like. Sometimes people arguing over the merest 16th of an inch on a charge. If that is my experience, it will be probably my last one. So if
I
you're playing me,
I if you want to make
please
Neil
keep
stop
that
this
in mind.
podcast,
Mhm.
I don't think you're gonna have that because when it's like Alex and I we went to the the finale of 8th edition, which was technically the first square based GT up at Mini Wargaming Forge.
Mhm.
And people and like we were told to bring hard lists, bring the BS. And we all did. And it was the friendliest tournament I've ever been to. Even whenever I did well my first game. I don't want to say crush, but I did well. I maxed. Went to
Mhm.
top table, played a Bretonian who I can't remember his name, but he was a top player. He was like a world's player from like way back when.
Mhm.
Um, Obviously though, like things get. I think he was playing 40k, so there was a couple times we had rules disputes, and it was just like, and we're just like, tell you what, we're disputing over one guy like with this save. Roll the dice. Okay, it didn't matter. I'm gonna put this dice right here just so we can check with the TL, but it didn't matter. Like, and we just rolled on, and it was a great time. Like, I had zero issues, even whenever it was a competitive game.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately in that game, my magic went dead for a whole turn, and he made like some good long bomb charges. It was just like dice were slightly in his favor. Peaked at the right time, and I got decimated. But still, it was that was the best event I've ever been to, even more so than any Age of Sigmar event I've been to that's been a match play event. Narrative aside.
Nice.
So I think you're going to be in good hands with wherever you're at.
Here's to hoping.
Well, with that out of the way, we got some hobby chat. We got Neil up first here. Let's get Neil going. Where's that miscellaneous? There we go. Boom. Yeah, you said it was good priming weather. I see some nice reinforcements. Is this everything you need to do the Seaguard garrison now?
I was looking at it, I was just like, damn, this is like a GW like starter box worth of crap. I just
It is, yeah. This is
Prime. There is, if I'm remembering correctly, there's the 10 guys I'm using as ship's company in there, or archers.
Yep.
There's the 10 or no, there's 26 Sea Guard there. There's a couple of bolt throwers. There's a Merwyrm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what else? There's a Griffin. So there's Eltharion.
Yep.
So old school Eltharion. A Marauder miniatures Eltharion. The only way to fly. And and we got Eltharion up on a little stone that I 3D printed or
Yep. He looks good.
ruined. So which kind of made him look a little bit bigger towards the scale that I'm running the rest of my army
Yeah.
at. So it's not going to look terribly out of place. But yeah, it looks okay.
Yeah, and the old Isle of Blood Griffin, gotta love him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yep.
if you want, I have I think I have extra of the Daughters of Cain Witch Elf banner, which is very similar to that Marauder one you have there, that banner style.
Mm.
That would fit Eltharion if you want it. I can dig it out for you.
I would take that. I actually have a much smaller, like it's very small banner I was going to put on him, but he is supposed to have a fairly significant banner. So if if you can spare it, I'd take it.
Yeah, I'll dig it out. I'll just gotta find it. Cool. I love it. I love seeing a full prime project like that.
Yeah. So now we just and we did get some paint on stuff. I didn't send you any of those pictures.
That's fine.
But there is, if you remember from Tale for Warlords, there was unfortunately my driver and my crewmate for my Tyrannok chariots. I just had like Seaguard on the chariots.
Oh yeah, yeah.
All right, so those guys are gone now, and the actual guys are in place. They were printed. I had to do some hobbying to get the lines that they're holding correct. Measuring that kind of stuff up. So that's all on there, looking sweet as hell. So we painted up a couple guys on that and finished up those chariots. So, and we got a little bit of a start on my sky chariots.
Ooh, yeah.
Those are we're missing one guy. They only had 2 crew. You're supposed to have 3.
Yep.
So I've got 2 archers that are going to go on the very back, and they'll round out the 3 crew.
Nice. So, and your army is coming together and it's looking sick.
Yep. I also, so for those 2, what do you call them? The sky chariots. So why am I forgetting their damn name?
Sky cutters.
Sky cutters. There we go. Those are supposed to be on 60 by 100s. I had them on 50 by 100. So printed out a 60 by 100, and they're both on the correct bases now. I just got to finish painting up the bases and everything. So
yeah, that's fine. I mean, to be fair, I guess if you're going to a tournament, it matters. But yeah, it's generally you can kind of figure it out. But I get you.
So as you are a completionist with like forces and things like that,
yep.
It would really bug me to know that those weren't on the right basis. They have to be on the right basis.
Actually,
that's where my OCD comes in on that kind of crap for some reason. It has nothing to do with the playability. It's just that's what it's supposed to be on. And I'm following the rules, damn it.
That's fair. Being a new model, like I said, I'm not rebasing any of my old high elves, but the new stuff I get is going to be on the new size bases. I'm not going to fight it, not going to argue with it. That said, I still am trying to figure out how to get some sort of adapter to make my dragon size, those bases for the sky cutter, the same one as the dragon ones. It's slightly bigger, but only in one way. So
Right.
I'm like,
Yeah.
how do I get an adapter for that if I want to run that or like the Phoenix or something? I think the Phoenix. Actually, I should check. Maybe the Phoenix is on the
You really could get
cell.
away with just doing like magnets, right? And just magnetizing it to the base, and then
Oh, that's true.
you
Yeah,
don't have to worry about it. You just paint around the edge where you sit it onto like the bigger base,
because it's
right?
so
So it looks like,
small. Yeah.
and then you just plop it on there. If you could live with that, then you could do that. But if that's not, you know,
No, I could live with that because it's
aesthetically pleasing enough.
well, I would paint it because the rims of all my old world, well, all my elves are brown for high elves, so I would
Mhm.
just paint it the same Mornfang brown and see how
Yeah,
that would look. It'd probably look okay.
yeah, yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well, let's get back to some other hobby. Boom. So speaking of primed and ready to go projects, here is 1,000 points of Votan. Built a little bit of kit bashing. I threw in some classic, uh, fantasy dwarf bits here and there. Not a ton, just a little bit. Um, cause when I did the grand narrative, this past November last year, I was a Votan character, and all the people were super cool in the Votan field. It's like I gotta have some of this army to remember it by. So picked up the start collecting combat patrol, and the kill team that was essentially the characters same character that I was playing, like the Jaegers. Um, so finally built that up after finishing every other side project because I was waiting for my high elves to ship. Um, and got them, like I said, got them all built and primed. Feels good. Wouldn't you know it? Day after. Here's all my high elf stuff that arrived. Guess guess what I didn't want to paint anymore.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Votan. Thankfully, club member and friend Bob Chica, Evil Bob, Bob's Miniatures. I'll try and get a link to his Facebook down below. He does commission painting, and he had some slots opening up mid-year. Like he's very well booked. So I'm gonna say I'll link his stuff. He's a cool guy. You should definitely follow him, check him out.
Hmm.
But he's very well booked. But I said, hey, I'd like to one. I don't have anything from him painted yet. Two, it's his job, so I'm helping support a friend with it. And three, I get to take it off my backlog. I'll pay him and I'll forget about it. And then sometime middle of this year, I'll get a 1,000 point army and be like, oh, that's neat.
Yeah, there it is. It looks really, really nice. Awesome.
Exactly. It's going to look great. Um, that said, Votan are built. Backlog is being destroyed. I'm just paying someone to help me with this one.
Perfect.
Yes. And then my house stuff arrived. I think I talked about before. Got my Merworm, my Reavers, another dragon, because I love that dragon. I know you don't. I do. I love them. The new characters, my handmaiden in metal, the eagle didn't have that sculpt, book, dice, cards, all that, transfers, all that fun stuff. So, and hold on, we gotta come back here real quick to us, Neil. I may have done something else right after this arrived.
Hmm.
So I'm a Warhammer Plus subscriber,
Sure.
and wouldn't you know it that the free model that you get every year finally kicked in for me. I was like, oh, I got to order this.
Hmm.
And I don't know. I'm not calling shenanigans on Games Workshop here, but the the cart would not load when I go, or not the cart would load. The checkout would not load with just that free miniature in there with free shipping. It refused on every single device I have. I tried this computer, my upstairs computer, my work computer, and my phone, and it would just freeze
Uh-huh.
until I put something else in that cart. And then it would load. It would still give me free shipping, wasn't charging me for that model, but it would not load the cart without something else in there. So I'm not calling shenanigans, but I'm calling shenanigans.
Did you call some customer support, or were you very willing?
Oh, tomorrow at the time of recording, I will have a box of Swordmasters and White Lions
There you
arriving.
go.
So
See,
I was willing.
see, this is Stockholm syndrome,
It
right?
is.
You
It
love
is.
your user.
Well, it's my first thought when it wasn't loading wasn't to go, something's wrong. It was, wonder if I throw something else in there if it would fix it. Sure did. So
it's just troubleshooting. Like, what were you supposed to do?
exactly,
Right?
it's a
You solve
feature,
the
not a
problem.
bug.
Right.
Yeah, but my high elf haul arrived a little bit more tomorrow. That's fine, but because I'm excited because that's all I have left to paint because um, finished up a few extra swarms for my lizardman army. I had extra bits. Swarms are pretty good in that army, so I did that. And I don't think I talked about this guy last week. I talked about the dwarf engineer character, but this is the Herald of Cetra. I picked him up on a work trip down to Dallas, started this year, so I painted him up too, just to have some fun. So
Nice.
yeah, it was all good time. That's my hobby time. Like I said, I'm just staring at high elves, and I'm thrilled, just like you. High elves is the only, and I was like I said, by the way, I was on Warhammer Weekly this past week, having a good time, and it was kind of fun that Vince and I were chatting after the show. High Elves has my heart. The only other model I have on order right now is the Malineth Witchblade because it's Daughters of Cain.
Right.
Unless they're releasing High Elf stuff that I want.
She came out as a model.
Yes. Yeah. You could buy her, and at the same time that you could buy the book. So I got the limited edition book. I went a little big for it because I like Malineth's character.
I know how I didn't catch that. Now that might be something I might have to go look at.
Mm-hmm. Super excited because I love her character. So that will be a little side project that I'll peek in. But unless they're releasing High Elf stuff that I want or need, or Daughters of Cain stuff that I want or need, there's nothing Games Workshop can release right now, other than narrative books, that I really care about.
Right.
And it's a weird place to be.
Yeah.
Like you said it before, give us Malarian, give us Tyrion. It's been a decade. Stop doing it. I will buy an army if you do that.
Yeah.
At least half an army. It's getting expensive.
Right.
Anyway, actually, one more piece of hobby. And shout out to a friend of the show, Martin Orlando. We're doing a trade. I had an extra Avatar of Cain, unbuilt, unpainted, miraculously. And I traded that, and he's shipping me 4 white lions that he has extra from Chariots. So that deal's solidified. Cain's on its way. White lions will be on their way in the next few days whenever he can make it to the post office. So
Nice.
yeah, we're doing good. The only thing I'm technically missing from my whole range of army now is the guy on Unicorn, the Storm Mage on Unicorn, or Storm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta wait for that made to order a kit bash, I guess, but we'll see.
Uh-huh.
Or I'm not eBay having that one. That's a terrible looking model. So derpy. I'll buy it.
Surprisingly, not a lot of good 3D prints out there either. So that's gonna have to get come from GW, I think. So
I
should
think,
get real.
yeah. I'm real tempted to kit bash. Like whenever I don't know. We'll figure it out because I was looking at my collection as I do, like planning out what I want to get next for just for the options. I have 2 Tyrnuk chariots, 2 White Lion chariots.
Yeah.
Each of them have a hero on it. The Tyrnuk has like the old like static guy who's like in the flat pose with the big huge helmet. And the White Lion, technically it's not the core hill that they released now, like the one we know and love. It's the prior one where he's running forward. He's a little bit more wild. He got changed to be in like the listings as just a champion of White Lions. Like he was like the sergeant or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's technically the first core hill model. So
Interesting. You have to see what that is because I'm sure I know it, but
you know it. Yeah, you know it. I'll send you a picture if you need. But yeah, but I figured he's on there because he can be core hill or just a random chieftain, and I can use the normal core hill model.
yeah.
So I would like to get one of each chariot, so I can have 2 of each normal chariot per se.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll end up with an extra horse at that point, so I might kit bash a unicorn depending on whenever they decide to release them.
Nice.
All right. Finally,
Yeah,
hobby's done.
one of the annoying things about one of the things I like about GW and is annoying with 3D printing is they do the rider separate. So if you want to convert something or you want to, put a different guy on a horse or whatever, that can be done, right? With 3D printing, like I swear to God, every company wants to put like the legs on like the horse.
Oh yeah.
Like there's nothing you can do at that point. You're like, I'm not going to just like
You have to sculpt that
carve this
STL.
away.
Yeah.
I can't do it. Like so it's like, well, you either go with this or you don't.
I know it's the struggles we got to deal with, but we'll get through. All right, Neil, you ready to talk high elves?
Let's do it.
All right. High elf realms army list. So let's before we start doing arcane journal specific, current high elves, pre arcane journal.
Hmm.
Where would you place that army in a flexibility for creation? Like how fluid was it? How many different options do you think there was? How well could it compete in any style of game? Like where's your thoughts on it? Like how were you feeling with it?
Regular high elf army. Now, I have not actually played a game. I've been playing all orcs and goblins, right? So this is all theory crafted for me up until 2 weeks from now, where I'll actually finally get to do it because my army will be together and I'll get to play it. However, based on looking through the book, based on watching battle reports, based on all this kind of stuff, um, high elves have one of the most extensive lists you can pick units out of, which is awesome, right? Unfortunately, there is not a lot of internal balance
Yeah.
inside of this right now. There are clear winners, and if you want to be, competitive with it, if you want to, shoot for the stars and shoot to win, you have dragons and you have Sisters of Avalon,
Yep.
and there are other things besides, but those are the two main things you're going to build this round, and various ways you can kit out your dragons. I know there's a very popular build with two dragons. They call it the double dragon list with some
Yep.
archmages on there. That's the list. If you don't want to have friends anymore, you can take that.
I I still remember over a year before I finally played a dragon, and the first dragon I took was the dragon mage.
Uh-huh.
Probably the worst one
Uh-huh.
as far as dragon goes. It still carried everything
Yeah.
because my opponent didn't have a dragon; he just had a horde that it just soloed. Like
Yeah.
I was like, oh boy,
Yeah.
okay, like yeah,
Yeah. 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 I've built a list for called Akron Brew Brawl, and there's just a few players who play in Old World, but it's enough. It's enough to get the thing going. I think we might end up with like six, so it's kind of a smaller event kind of thing, but we'll all get to kind of play each other. It's an RTT, 3 games, whatever. Have some fun with it. But I did write a list with the dragon
I
in
was
it.
say you trying to win this event.
I'm not really trying to win the event, but there is prize support if you have everything in your army painted, and that thing is
Ooh,
painted,
that's
and it
true.
also can slap. So
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't really love the idea of just getting kicked around. So I have something that I know can do some damage. I'm not opposed to playing the good things. I'll just play them the way I want. So
Well,
it's not like it's not the double dragon list. I'm not trying to flip my
yeah.
dragon cereal or anything like that. But yeah, I'm not opposed to getting a little dragon out there.
One dragon is you can handle it if you're prepared to handle it. And to be fair, there's no deciding how you play a dragon. It's impetuous, and you want to charge anyway.
Right.
Like if it's a mage on there, he's got battle magic. That's all done. If it's a
Hmm.
prince up there, you're gonna give him that new pretty lance we got.
Mhm. I
So,
actually did not do that.
ooh, okay,
It wasn't
maybe.
my first list, but I decided against it. So
Okay, it's so good, so
it is so.
ridiculously good.
I
Um,
didn't do it because the writer, doesn't actually have a lance, and so I just felt bad about it, and so I didn't put it on there.
okay, that's fair. I can appreciate that. Um, my thoughts, having played High Elves almost exclusively, I can count on one hand the games I've played at Old World that weren't High Elves, and that was like 3 Lizardmen games, a Dwarf game, and a Tomb Kings game. Maybe 2 hands. Maybe there's a few extra Tomb King games in there, maybe. But um, that said, I remember starting out and just getting decimated with High Elves at the start, and it wasn't an issue with the army. It was an issue with my mindset because I was so reliant on the old crutches of always strikes first and just all that stuff. Um, so I had to learn how to play the army. Had to learn how the magic would work with it. Like I've played exclusively high magic, outside of the Stormweaver, mixing it up a little bit. But I was
Mhm.
misplaying the dark magic because I'm like I don't know how to use it yet.
Yeah.
But like hammering the same list and the same magic over and over again really got me up. And as soon as it clicked, it clicked. Like I've played with not everything in the army, but I played with Phoenix Guard, I've played with Sword Masters, I've played with White Lions. like those core things. I've thrown in Shadow Warriors, the War Machine Hunt. Obviously, I love Sisters of Avalorn. They've been in my list since the start before I even knew what the rules were. Um,
Hmm.
I wouldn't rate them as they're not what they used to be. They're not that top tier echelon. They can be beaten. You can play them poorly. That said, the few things in there like the dragon and sisters and even dragon princes can really help carry you a little bit farther than where you're supposed to be sometimes. But
Hmm.
if you don't know how you want to play your game, you'll struggle. And I think a lot of people might get into high elves because they look cool and they're very iconic. And you hear all these old stories about how great they were, and they're still great. You just have to learn how to play them a little differently in this game.
Yeah.
I would say they're, if we do obviously S through D tier, I would say we're B plus, maybe A minus. It depends if you're
Hmm.
you could ship to be A plus, maybe even S minus if you throw in the dragons, but just generally speaking, in a concept. But you're right. There's a very big issue with the internal balance.
Hmm.
But also, I think that they don't care that much. Like
Yeah.
they wrote a cool game, and that's their focus, and they've accomplished that.
And I don't like. It's not as if you couldn't play a Griffin.
Hmm.
I mean, you're going to lose some punch, right? My list actually does have a Griffin in it as well, so it's got a dragon and a Griffin, but the Griffin's just a noble on the Griffin, right? So it's there to maybe be more distracting than anything. So,
Well, one of our club mates, and actually I love it too. It was so quick. Neil threw together a little group chat of all the high elf players that we know. It's
mhm,
like it's just we're just list building and having a good time.
yeah,
Um, but Luke, he loves his Griffin. Like he kind of grew up on Isle of Blood with his lists
yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
So
God bless. I'm the same way. Yeah,
he has a dragon, but yeah, no, he always has a Griffin in his list, and he's giving it the good stuff because he just likes it better.
right.
So it's they can slap. I've seen it do some good work.
Hmm. Hmm. I mean, it's still a prince up there, right?
Yeah,
Maybe you're not, maybe not quite as many wounds, maybe not quite as tough and strong on the monster underneath, but
he can
still got terror. You know.
can still kill the first rank pretty easily.
Yep.
Just got to pick your fights. But yeah, but just quick recap for folks out there since it's general high elf review we're doing. Um, the Grand Army, 50% 0 to 1 high elf princes or archmages per 1,000 points, 0 to 1 dragon mage or handmaiden of the other queen per 1,000 points, and high elf nobles and mages. Core is 25% spearmen, archers, sea guard, reavers, silver helms, and if your general is the handmaiden, which Neil and I often do, you can have 0 to 1 Sisters of Avalorn as a core choice.
Mhm.
Special, you got your White Lions, Sword Masters, Phoenix Guard, Shadow Warriors, Tyrnuk Chariots, 0 to 1 Dragon Princes per 1,000 points. Um, if your general has the Charcian Hunter, 0 to 1 Lion Chariots can be taken in special as opposed to rare per 1,000 points. And if you have the Sea Guard, you can take the Sky Cutter in the same way. Um, then rare, obviously, normal Sisters of Avalorn, Lion Chariots, Sky Cutters, both of the Phoenixes, Great Eagles, Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers. So pretty standard, pretty simple. I think that was all expected. That's kind of what it was in the prior edition.
Mhm.
Um, the I think you and I both agree that unlocking Sisters of Avalorn into core is a little rough.
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Well, even rougher now, and I'll explain that later.
okay, I would say the hardest thing though that you're doing, if you're bringing in the handmaiden, then you have to, she has to be your general. So your noble, if you bring a noble for a BSB or try to put a noble on a dragon, they have to be the BSB so they don't become the general. It's weird. So like there's some finagling you have to do to keep that handmaiden to be the general. So
Sure.
like you're probably sacrificing a dragon to load up on core for Sisters of Avalorn, which still does
Sure.
work.
Yep.
But all made sense. It's all good. I mean, we've talked about too. Like Sisters of Avalorn are just amazing. You want to bring them. Dragons are good. I tell you what, actually, there's one thing I haven't actually played yet in this whole core. Cause I've played all the chariots and everything. I've not taken a Phoenix out yet.
I played against a Phoenix.
How was it? Because like that's probably the only thing that and Silverhelms I haven't really played, but I know what Silverhelms do. They're good.
Well, I shot a Doom Diver at it, and the little circle wound up right over top the
Oh,
and it didn't end well for the Phoenix, unfortunately, or the guy on top. They got shot by a bolt thrower for 2 wounds that sneaked through, and then the Doom Diver took it out. So it died very quickly, much to the dismay of my opponent. So,
I
but I'm sure if you're, when you get lucky like that, anything seems, maybe less than ideal. But there's a couple lucky shots there. So
okay. I think the next game I get to play, I'm going to bring out one of the Phoenixes,
yeah.
or
Now the
both.
thing,
I need to get them on
so
the table. I'm
again,
curious.
talking internal balance again, like for the points difference and everything, it's really hard to not just do the Frost Heart
I
every
know.
time.
I know.
You
It's
know,
so much better.
personally, a Phoenix to me is on fire, right? So I want to play
The
the
Fire
fire,
Phoenix.
right? But it's just like find myself like, well, I could do this, like, and oh, by the way, my army's blue, so kind of an icy blue Phoenix makes sense,
It
So,
does. I actually, it's weird. I've always loved the concept of the Ice Phoenix.
mhm.
The story of it, it grew old. Now it can permadie.
uh
Like it's lost it's gotten old. It's like us. It's got listless. It's lost that that zest for life. It just
right.
exists now
It's
out
kind
of
of like when you
spite.
turn 44.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a Phoenix out. Actually, it reminds me, little anecdote here. Back in 8th edition, I had a dwarf arm. Well, I still have that dwarf army. So spoilers for this little story. And I got it for super cheap. And I was thinking maybe I'll sell it, get a different army, because I wasn't sold on them yet. But I had them built. They weren't painted. They were just built and primed. I'm like, okay. And someone at the club was like, "Hey, you want to play a game?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." I said, "I have this dwarf army. It's not painted. I have my high elf army." And I said, I was trying to sell the dwarf army, but there's been no takers. But do you mind running that? He's like, "Nah, it's fine." Like he knew how to play the game, so I gave him the list. Top of one, cannon bullseyes my Frost Phoenix and rolls a 6, kills it instantly. I looked up at him. I was like, "I'm not selling this army anymore," and I did it. I kept it. He just started laughing. He's like, "Well, I'm glad I could help you." I lost that game real hard because guess what
I can
happened?
imagine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
cannons did work.
When the general goes down turn one, that's
That wasn't
usually
even the
not.
general.
Oh, really?
That
Yeah.
was, but that was like my. That was I was yeah. Without him there, I had nothing quick besides Illyrian Reavers, which didn't matter against dwarves. So
Mhm.
I was slogging across the field and just getting shot. I'm like, oh no, gun lines. Oh no.
Mhm. That kind of brings up another point, kind of just overview of
Yeah.
high elves. So high elves are a hard hitting army. They're an army that has to go towards their opponent for the most part. Um, I would say they want, for a lot of the units that are in this book, they want to be in combat. Now, if you're taking sisters and things like that, they obviously don't want to be in combat. But
They
things
still
like
do okay in
dragons, things like
combat if they're
sword,
swinging first.
right?
Like I don't mind sisters in
Exactly.
combat. It's just if they get hit back, they're gonna die.
Sword masters, white lions, all these things you don't want just sitting out, getting hit by templates and getting hit by,
No.
war machines and all the rest. You want to get into the thick of things as quickly as possible, so you're not taking that other type of damage. But it is a very fragile army, it's,
Your
and
toughness 3.
so
Outside of the new banner, maybe one unit toughness 4, but like your troops are toughness 3. It's rough. Most things feel like they're wounding me on 2s anymore.
yeah. And so, a lot of the units that you have, because they are more of your elite style units, right? Great stats, when they're around on the table, they're doing well, right? But the problem is like if I want to run, let's say a unit of Illyrian Reavers, right? And I run 5 of them. And you want your chaff type units to be pretty cheap. Like you want fast cavalry to be cheap and do just whatever it's necessary. Nothing in the high elf army is cheap. Okay, so it's
Comparatively,
very
yeah.
hard to utilize like chaff, utilize flankers and things like that. They have to work for you. You have to get them to work, and sometimes they're priced so high that it's a points game,
Yeah.
right? So when they're taking points away from your army, they're working towards winning the game. So they take away a big unit of Illyrian Reavers. Let's say you've got a unit of 10 of those bad boys. That's a lot of points, and they're not very survivable. And so
Yep.
that is, I think, the challenge of playing high elves is how to manage that and how to mitigate some of that stuff.
Yeah, no, you're very right. Like I said, to be fair, since I just focus on high elves, I'm used to the points cost that I see Alarian Reavers as cheap because they're
Hmm.
cheap within the context of this elite army.
Yeah.
But you are right because whenever I'm throwing them away to get I'm doing it in an essence to get myself a better advantage for a counter charge
Hmm.
because whatever unit's about to charge in that the Reavers are chaffing and getting away for, that unit I'm about to throw in after needs to make up not only the points that it's going to lose in its combat itself, but for those Alarian Reavers.
Yeah.
So
Well,
they're doing extra work.
I challenge you to do that in one game and then play another game with Goblin Wolf Riders and see how much better you feel.
Oh
So,
boy. We'll
mhm.
see. We'll talk about our future endeavors later with Alarian Reavers. But yeah, I think the next game I play, I'm gonna figure out how to get I'll do more of a Phoenix style list. I played Phoenix Guard, I like them, but yeah, I'll get one or both Phoenixes in just to see what they do, see how they
Mhm.
feel. Um, Trying to think what else. I had a thought regarding just general high elves right now. I mean, bolt throwers are good, but you need to bring two of them. Oh, I know what the thought was. Generally speaking, and this is just true of high elves, it always has been. The units are good except for their toughness. Like our weapon skills are best defense, which means you want to get them in combat.
Mhm.
But the thing that you have to keep in mind is a lot of things need supportive magic. Like I said, sword masters, unless you're giving them Fury of Cain or somehow getting them an extra attack, you're gonna be wildly disappointed in them.
Mhm.
They need two base attacks to be useful. That said, if they had two base attacks and I buffed it to three with Fury of Cain, that'd be way too good. Be
Mhm.
nightmarish. So it's I see where the balance of it comes in, but um like my Sea Guard, I usually do bunker my high mage within my Sea Guard, and he'll cast the Walk Between Worlds on them to give them ethereal, so I'll be very survivable. Plus, I get the extra little move for their shooting.
Mhm.
So like high magic works well with this army. Probably my favorite. I want to learn how dark magic's going to work, but you can't just rely on your units to kind of do what they want to do for the most part. Some can, um, but you need to synergize everything, which is probably the biggest thing to keep in mind when building your list. You can take some good stuff, but if you're just chasing the good stuff, you're probably missing a few things that you need to buff everything else.
Mhm. Yeah, I like my ethereal spell on my Sisters of Avalorn personally, but
I've tried that. It's
it's a
good.
flavor choice.
Yeah.
So
I need to get used to the one thing I've been bad with just this whole edition so far is running my mage outside the unit. I know it's safe.
yeah.
I know it's safe. I just my brain doesn't like it still.
I was watching a mini war game while I was kind of hobbying the other day. I was watching a mini wargaming battle report,
Yep.
and a poor bastard, he had a spearman in front of his mage who was outside the unit, and those spearmen fell back in good order through the mage,
Oh.
and then the chaos spawn was free to follow up right into the mage.
Poor
It's
mage.
like, ooh.
That's rough, buddy.
So be careful. Just be careful where you put it.
Mm,
So
it's true. Yeah, so I'll figure it out. We'll play. I'm excited because I think I'm gonna get more games in with the core magic as opposed to the Terathi magic we've been running with the dice pools. Just because
mhm.
Alex likes it better,
Yeah,
and if we're looking at going to tournaments, we have to assume they're gonna use standard magic, not my
yeah,
my event comp magic.
right, sure.
um, I'm kind of curious about this. I've been a fan of it since the start. I was curious of your thoughts on it. What did you think of the Elven honors? Like that way that essentially says, "Hey, this is how you make a lore mage now. This is how you make
Yeah, Pure of
um,
Heart's cool.
Pure Heart's great. I love Pure Heart.
Right? I've not because sort of the models that I have right now to start with, but and just kind of looking at the list and everything, I've not even touched those other honors.
Okay.
I've not touched them,
Well,
and maybe I
you
need to
th- you
start like making lists around them just to see what I can come up with. It's probably something I should start doing, but I mean that I find I'm always just like, oh, cool, 0 points, Pure Heart.
and Pure Heart's good.
Right. And, yeah, I'd like more leadership bubbles. Yes, I would.
Yep.
So in my very fragile army that needs to not ever run away.
Yes. I've used in all my lists. I've used Pure Heart and Seaguard the most because I like throwing my mage in with the Lothern Seaguard. So
Mhm.
he gets the bonuses. He gets an extra bow shot. Why not? Pure Heart goes on every other character.
Mhm.
That changed with the Tracy and Hunters list because I'm putting Tracy and Hunters on everything because I have to.
Mhm.
And it
Yep.
is really fun going, here's my level 4 mage. Oh no, he's in combat. Well, he's still got the Tracy and Great Axe. So like maybe boom, maybe he's gonna just smash something hard.
He's still got a very high initiative. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's fun. Yeah, it's
Like, oh, look at this wispy little. Oh no.
yeah. I do really want to try Warden of Safari. They make the lore master choice again. Give him the
Uh,
Sword of Hoeth. We'll see. We'll see. Killing Blow. That sounds fun. Like it could be. Like I need to play with more of this list. I feel like I'm finally comfortable with my list fully.
uh,
Like now it's time to play, especially since we have the full thing out.
sure.
But yeah. I mean yeah, we don't need to go super deep on the core army with that because like I said, a lot of it's known, a lot of it's out there. You've heard Neil and I talk about it for quite a while now.
Right.
But yeah, now we have the Arcane Journal out. So we've done list building for Tracing Hunters and Seaguard. Um, I played a couple games with the Tracing Hunters. Haven't got the Seaguard out yet. We've seen countless reviews. We did our hot takes. Out of our hot takes that you can remember, was there any key things that you're like, you know what, that was a true hot take? I kind of want to reverse decision a little bit on that.
In
I
terms of
just like
Arcane Journal,
yeah,
Arcane Journal Army.
Arcane Journal specifics, yeah.
Okay.
Because I have one.
Um,
I have one.
Go first while I think here.
Okay. My biggest one is I said that the Tracing Hunter army could go 5-0. And I want to reverse that course a little bit because, like I said, I did call out that it's hard to play. You need to be charging.
Mhm.
I still think there's a good list in there to go win an event. I think 5-0 is going to depend on a lot of matchups, like for your top tables.
Yeah.
I still could it go 5-0? Yes, but the way I was implying it was like, man, this army with played with a little bit of knowledge could carry you through 5-0. I think it's going to be a lot of work, but I think that list can still get there. But it's a lot more work than maybe I was implying.
I would agree with you that it could still get there
Yes.
technically because you still have all the tools in that army. You still have the dragon. You
Yep.
still have the level 4 archmage, right? The woodsmen.
Great
The
chef.
woodsmen are what you got to look at, right? The
Yeah.
woodsmen, if they're are what's going to carry you to that potential 5-0, right?
Yeah.
And playing lots and lots of those guys. But then if you do that, right, you're starting to lose a little bit
Yeah.
of
I don't think you need a big block. I think you need one block of white lions. That's it.
yeah, yeah.
Two
Because
just
the
two doesn't
thing
work.
is like if one's making the charge, the other one might not be, right? And if that one's not, then that one's getting deleted anyway, right? So
Yeah.
or at least taking quite a bit of punishment. So
Well, honestly, I think too it might be worthwhile to bring archers just to bunker that mage in. If that mage isn't on anything substantial like a dragon.
yeah,
I said, and to be
you
fair
could,
as well, that list is going to take a lot out of you to get 5-0 with. You have to
yeah.
play it
Well,
right. You have to play it right.
if I'm trying to go 5-0 with that list, I'm I'm doing a dragon, a prince on a dragon,
Hmm.
and then I'm going to do an archmage on a dragon, and then we're going to go ethereal dragon
Yeah.
all over the place. We're doing woodsman all over the place. It's not going to be a lot of room for much else, right? You're going to you fill up your core with your white lion block, and then it's just like that's just like your tax, right? Is those guys? What a great tax to have, but still,
Yeah,
it's a
and
tax.
you're giving them toughness 4 somehow, some way through a
Yeah.
BSB.
Well, if you're doing double dragon, you're probably not going to have the points for getting
That's
toughness score. So
I'd be curious. Yeah, it would be naked BSB at most. Like he's just there for toughness 4, but you're right, that would be really difficult because
yeah,
I had problems with one dragon. I had a level 4 not on a dragon, and then I got a level 3 in there or core hill, and that was like a mostly naked thing. So yeah, you're right. That's gonna be rough.
yeah.
But
And if you do a naked, the thing is, you can do a naked standard bear, right? And I get into that unit, I'm challenging that guy immediately. I'm going to smash him out, and then it's
well,
time. Right?
that's why you let the white lions just take every challenge and leave it
That's
alone.
true. They
Yeah,
can't take
they
every
could
challenge.
they
I
could
guess they got that's probably that's a good point in that army.
yeah.
So Yeah.
I might,
Um,
yeah, after I'm done and like I'm uploading this podcast tonight, I'm gonna be playing with that list. Be like, can I do that? Can I get double dragon and a naked BSB and make it work?
yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
like,
That.
yeah, like go get your points. Your points are in these two dragons that are near unkillable. Good luck.
Mhm. Yeah. And then, oh, by the way, these woodsmen that are running around, with a full command,
And
and
warbows. I don't know. Do you really want to put command on them?
I mean,
At
you
least a
could do a
banner.
lot.
At least a banner. I've been running them in
Maybe at
minimum.
least the banner. I don't know. I do probably banner and champion, right? Like why not? Why not get that extra attack of a
Sure. Yeah, you're
strength
right.
6, whatever, Um, and then you got the musician to potentially break ties, things like that. I don't know. If you can fit it. If you can't fit it, that probably goes, right?
Yeah.
But either way, I mean, that's a threat, a big block of those guys, right? Especially if they're coming through the woods or something like that. They're moving through
Scouting in.
terrain,
Yeah.
difficult terrain and everything, pretty easily. And then you're like, okay, well, I can't even worry about these guys because I got 2 dragons barreling down, the crack of my ass, and I got to do something about this.
Oh no, you stalemated the dragon. Here's
Right?
12 attacks that their strikes
Yeah.
last, but guess what? They're gonna crush you.
And to boot, with those last few points, I just threw it in a rare for some Sisters of Avalorn. I mean, there's all the tools are there.
Oh
You just
yeah,
got to
yeah.
figure out how to make them work, right?
I say
It can definitely work.
like I said, I still believe it can go 5-0. I think it's gonna require more work than I initially thought.
Yeah.
Like to get through it. But hey,
Well, good. It should.
it should. It should. It shouldn't be a carry. No easy carries.
Yep.
That's for orcs and goblin players. They like being carried.
Wow, those fighting words right there.
Well, okay, well, generally speaking, like I said, the Sea Guard. I didn't hate the Sea Guard. Um, I'm curious what your thoughts are after like looking at the book a lot more and having built that list. Do you think they can stand up to like a standard style list? Like, where do you think they would fall in? Are they going to be a constant uphill battle? Or are they still just that flavor style list for fun?
I think they're an uphill battle.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of fun things you can do with them. I think you're going to have a fun, competitive game that against a competitive list you're going to lose.
Yeah.
I think it's.
I don't think that list stands up to a single dragon.
I don't know either because you don't even have a level 4 to
Yeah.
combat somebody else's level 4. And let's be honest, in with high elves, in my humble opinion, high magic is what you want, right? You don't
Yeah.
get it. You get it maybe with a level 2, and that's not
That's
enough
not
in a
enough.
competitive setting. It's not even close to enough. So
Yeah.
yeah, you're gonna have to really pull some shenanigans with that Stormweaver.
Yeah, and Isha Vest, I still like Isha Vest a lot, but buffing
She's
one,
great.
yeah,
I think for the points, she's awesome, right?
yeah,
For what she can do and for her buffs and everything. What the amount of points you're going to be able to pull back from your Lothern Sea Guard, hitting the way they are, especially if you have like Razor Standard on them to boot and everything. You're going to be really punching through armor. Like I mean, that many Lothern Sea Guard, shoot, even at like shit Grail Knights with that much AP. I mean,
yeah. Well, here's the
it's
thing,
frightening.
that you're making essentially them into sisters. Because I'll take my sisters and shoot toughness 6 stuff all day long. Because if I roll a 6, guess what? It's minus what 3 AP
Yeah,
doing damage.
cheaper sisters at that.
Yeah, a
They're
little bit
not
cheaper.
doing all the crazy fun stuff with evasive and all that.
No, but they have they can form out in a really strong line, and you can do that leadership to stand and shoot and reform back in and get your spear attack. So like there's
Yeah.
play with that I think a lot of people miss.
Yeah.
I actually came up a little bit. I still think I'm kind of with you. It's an uphill battle. I was more of the fact that I'm like, we're never going to see this outside of just fun games. I think
Yeah.
people are going to take this list to try and win with it. I think we're going to see it. Yeah, we'll see it do 2 and 3, 3 and 2. I bet.
You will have to have a high, to steal a term from Vince Venturella, your high skill level, right?
Yes.
It's going to be a high skill, playability, to make this list and to make it work. Like if you are a very skilled player, you're going to figure stuff out to do with it. But the question is, if you're a very skilled player, could you do this easier somewhere else?
True. Very true. Like what's your
It's almost like
motivation?
you want to prove you're taking it to prove something, a little
Yeah.
bit, like I can win with this, as opposed to maybe going an easier route. And maybe that's because you like the theme of it and everything. And I hope that that's the case, and that's the why to push it, you know. But I don't know. I could be wrong, you know. Like the ability to redeploy after deployment,
Is good.
like don't sleep on that. That is huge. Get away from something because deployment, you can win a game in deployment,
Yeah.
right? And if you can take a Death Star and shift it into an advantageous position, that's very useful.
Yep.
Very useful.
And you're making a
So,
Death Star with that list, I think, almost every time, just by nature of it. With
yeah.
Ishaves.
But and again though, to do that though, and to make the right choice, because it will have to be the right choice, is going to be depends on what your skill level is playing the army, right? So
Yeah, and we
you'll
don't.
play a lot of games with it. I think you're going to have to take a couple over the head and
Yeah.
just really just keep plugging away at it, kind of like what you did when you started playing High Elves.
You just get beat over the head until you figure it out. I think a big thing that we haven't talked about in a while. We used to talk about it, but this was more like competitive 8th edition type games we were going to, and like just, like whenever I was trying to win games, because in 8th edition I was a menace, at least locally, big fish small pond type thing. I would practice deployment because deployment would win me games. I distinctly remember multiple times going into one day RTTs, local stuff like that, or just even a casual game like where we weren't trying, and I would just know how to deploy properly before we even rolled dice. I'd be like, oh, like mentally, I wasn't out loud about it, but mentally, I'm like, if I do this, I win this game.
Mm-hmm.
And if that doesn't work out, then I need to do, like, I could see my path to victory based upon my deployment. Which is always fascinating. So like, yeah, practice your deployment, especially if you're trying to win the game. It is very important, and I think too the redeployment ability of this army is very strong, but could also trip up so many people.
Yeah.
Because you need to know before you even deploy it, you need to know where you want to move it. So
Right.
you don't
You have to
accidentally.
have an opening to put it somewhere, right? So
Yeah.
it's not like you can just like move something else out of the way. You can't do that, you know?
Yeah. Plus, you got to bait out your opponent because otherwise, if there's this perfectly sized hole, they'll be like, "Yeah, I
Yeah.
know what you're doing." It's like, "Oh shoot."
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Well, with that, so tracing hunters, solid, Seaguard, capable. Um, I guess just to run through the tracing hunters composition list: 50% 0 to 1 High Elf Prince or Archmage per 1,000, 0 to 1 Tracing Hunters Stormweaver per 1,000, and High Elf Nobles. Core 33% Spearmen, Archers, the new Tracing Woodsmans, 0 to 1 White Lions per 1,000 points. Special, you have your White Lions and Lion Chariots, and 0 to 1 War Lions, which is the new, slightly nobler version of the White Lions.
Mm-hmm.
And the rare, you have 0 to 1 Lion Guard. Or no, Lion Guard is the new beefy ones. The War Lions are just the lions. Sorry, the chaff.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Rares 0 to 1 Lion Guard. 0 to 1 Shadow Warriors or Sisters of Avalorn per 1,000. So sisters. Sorry, they just better than Shadow Warriors. 0 to 2 Great Eagles per 1,000 and 0 to 1 Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers per 1,000, which you probably just won't even take. And we talked about it too. They can be Shadow Stalker, Tracing Hunters, Pure Heart. So you're taking Tracing Hunters, Pure Heart with your lords there, especially on the dragon. Like honestly, most will be Tracing Hunters unless they're on a dragon. Then they got Pure Heart.
Mm-hmm.
Hidden Trails, 0 to 1 Spearmen or Archers per 1,000. Get moved through cover and for +1 point per model. Everything can get Lion Cloaks, all that sort of fun stuff. Which I do like that. I like they can put the Lion Cloaks on the units for 10 points per unit. So if you have a big block of Spearmen, yeah, why not spend extra 10 points?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a cheap little banner. And then what's the other one? Oh, you get to put out the dangerous or not? Yeah, difficult terrain. Sorry, not line of sight blocking. It's difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sea Guard, since we ran through it already. 50% Sea Guard Garrison Commanders, Stormweavers, 0 to 1 Dragon Mage, Noble, High Elf Mage per 1,000 points. 33% can be Sea Guard and Ship's Company, and 0 to 1 Shadow Warriors can be Core per 1,000. Special 50% Sky Cutters, many as you want. 0 to 2 Great Eagles per 1,000, 0 to 3 Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers per 1,000, and rare you have Valerian Reavers, which I don't understand. I don't understand. I guess horses are hard to put on boats.
Yeah, when I don't know. And even then, like if you're looking just in pure game terms, why am I wasting my rare slot
On the
on Laboring
Reavers,
Reavers? I have no idea.
yeah.
So
0 to 1 Flamespire or Frostheart Phoenix per 1,000 points. I I think that's a big mistake. It doesn't fit the theme of this army at all. That should just be Great Eagles.
right.
Great Eagles makes sense.
Hmm.
But and then Merworm. So yeah, you bring Merworm because he's cool. This army, Seaguard, Shadowstalker, Pure Heart. I could see you doing the Shadowstalker potentially for this one. Since you can get a core unit, that might make them worth it. You have your redeploy. You can put ambushers on things, and get some drilled on a Seaguard unit too. So lots of cool stuff. More importantly, we have those characters. So
Hmm.
Core Hill. So we've been through his stats before in the hot take show, so we don't need to go too deep. I
Hmm.
still rate Core Hill high. I want to throw him in every single list and just stand next to my BSB. That way my BSB can not have to worry about being super defensive because Core Hill can just be like, yeah, I'm going to fight you. I'm going to beat
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've got toughness 4 for a change. So
No, he's only toughness
and,
3.
what's that?
He's only toughness 3.
Even if it's in the unit with the banner.
Oh, with the banner, he'll be 4. Yeah, you're right.
Mhm.
Do you still... How are you feeling on Core Hill? 175 points, but
175 points. A base lord with nothing on him is 130.
yeah.
Right. So all of his abilities, all everything, you're paying 40 points for, 45 points. That's probably worth it, right? What do you
Yeah.
think? I mean,
Yeah,
I do. Right. A lot of great rules. A lot of. He's a heavy hitter. Yeah. Yes, please.
yeah. The
40 extra points.
the only things I wish he had, and this is an either or. I wish he either had Monster Slayer
Mhm.
or had Strikes First.
Right. Because he doesn't have a. Does he have any ward or regen on him? He does have regen, doesn't he?
He had something. What was it?
Chandras or Chandras, whatever it is.
I'm looking. Yeah, regen 5+.
Okay, so
Yeah,
he's got a little bit of protection here then.
yeah.
So,
But like he needs to swing first to win.
mhm.
Granted, his weapons aren't strikes last, so initiative 6, he's probably going to swing first. But the
Mhm.
guarantee would be nice.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
um,
What does he have? Elven reflexes.
he does. So like, yeah, he's gonna
Oh,
be. It's true. He's gonna be 10. You're right. I'm overthinking that too much. I want Monster Slayer on him.
yeah. And it's nice, like it's like you can take him or you can take the guy with the big axe, with the woodsman's axe.
That's true. You
So
could. Yep.
it's like, but that's the choice, right? So with the woodsman's axe, what's that? 90 points, right? So you're already more than Core Hill right there.
Yeah.
Probably as you should be if you have Monster Slayer, but
Yeah, you should be. Monster Slayer can be pretty solid.
mhm,
But yeah, I want to squeeze him into every list I've written
mhm.
that I can get him into now. It's just he's just one of my favorite. I always loved him and Caradrian. Those hero level named characters in the High Elves, they were always my favorite.
Yeah,
Not the Lord level. I guess was Altharian. He
he's a lord.
was he a Lord? Okay.
Yep.
Not a
Oh
hero.
yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's good to see him back and being a named character. Isha Vess. How are you still feeling about her? Like she's 170 points. She definitely buffs up that one unit pretty good, but
I mean, I think she's like. I know we might have mentioned last time that like she's a little expensive. I don't think so.
right.
Again,
It's in the
a
scope of this
basic lord
game. Yeah.
is 130 points, and for 40 more points, you're taking an entire unit of Seaguard and giving them AP1, right?
Yeah, it's like in the scope of the game, she's expensive. In the scope of the High Elves, she's not.
Right.
The
So
points
like
internal balance is pretty good, even if the rules aren't.
yeah. So for everything you're getting for her, the extra range, if she's your general 15 inches on her range for her command and everything, she's got rallying cry. She's giving you that -1 AP. That's easily worth a 40-point item
Yeah.
that you would put on a regular like a regular Lord level character, right? I mean, easily worth it. You like if you could build that, you would build that, right?
True. Yeah. And then she's probably cheaper than
And
what
I
it
bet
is.
you would pay more points for it. I bet you it wouldn't be a 40-point alien, you know. So
Yeah. And then initiative 7, Elven reflexes, so she's gonna be swinging first. She's the same thing. If she does not go first and kill what she's fighting, she's probably gonna die.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, she does not have a lot of staying power, not at
no,
all.
like I said,
But
as I said, with
again, you have her in there for other reasons, right?
high elves, especially the characters that you can't get like extra stuff on, like their weapon skills, their best defense. So you want to get them in combat,
Yeah.
which is a little odd because it seems like she wants to buff her unit and shoot at more possible before the combat happens. So I
Mhm.
think
The
she's gonna
thing
be.
about it is the weapon skill as a defense is always just a worse deterrent than toughness, right? By a far cry, because the best you're getting is a 4+, right?
Oh yeah,
I
it's
mean,
yeah,
maybe a 5 if you're way up over somebody else. But if they've got a their own lord level character, you're the best you could hope for is a 4+, and somebody rolling bad, right? But there's always that chance that somebody spikes and that weapon skill did you no good. So
I think it would be more exciting. I'm trying to think like how I would slightly change her because like, I like that Core Hill can go in the chariot, the
yeah,
chieftain
you're gonna
chariot,
put Corhell on the chariot every time, right? Because that gives them some more
staying power.
survivability
Yeah,
as well. So
I would love if just man, this is all wish listing. I hate to do it at this point, but if she could be on a sky cutter, but she could nominate one Sea Guard unit in the army to have that bonus,
yeah,
which makes sense because she trains them. So it's a
yeah.
little odd whenever she die if she dies in a challenge and all of a sudden they're like, oh, we're worse now. Like, how did you forget what she taught you?
Well, it's a little disheartening, right?
Yeah. Oh, sad.
Especially if she loses that other eye, right?
You put the toughest four banner in there right away.
Right.
I'm not really concerned about talking about the chieftains. We kind of did through that. Same thing with garrison commanders. They're that fun little what were they called? Like the betweeners type characters.
Mm.
Stormweavers, I'm still high on Stormweavers, even being level 3. I just want to figure out how dark magic plays into my armies so badly.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Dark magic seems to me. Dark magic seems like it's a little weak, but
Well, I'm curious because he put it on the unicorn, gets an extra wound, extra armor. I'm trying to think, like, then you run it around solo, just let it kind of go out there and maybe on the flank, just start popping some stuff out before it dies. But also,
if you're gonna do
that's a
that
lot
with
of
it,
points that I'm expecting to die.
yeah, I mean, it's just like, well, you could put it just on a horse
I
instead
know.
of a unicorn. Like, it's like,
No, you can't.
I'm
You
kind of
can't.
confused by the unicorn,
You can't put.
right?
There's no horse option. It's just unicorn.
Oh, there's no. Oh,
It's
okay.
just
Well,
unicorn.
fair
Yeah,
enough then. And I'm sure the unicorn can't be worth that many points, But
35. It's not bad.
yeah,
But I mean, the Stormweaver is gonna be like it's gonna be my baby. It's like my Kraith. I want to make
hmm
it work so bad, even if it's
yeah,
so
yeah,
awful.
yeah. I think you're probably gonna if you're gonna put it on the unicorn, you're gonna put it on the flanks. You're gonna give him some bound spells. Ring of not ring of fury. What's the other one? Ring of the one that has the
Fiery Ring of
fireball.
Ruin.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
ruin. Then you're gonna go run up the side with that. Just try to cast as many magic missiles as you possibly can with it.
or throw out
Wipe out
templates if
the
you can, I guess. But
yeah.
debuff.
Hmm.
Where are you at with Ships Company since you're actually playing them? I've thought about them and I've like this would be cool, but I've not really gone deep on how I want to use them. Like, how are
I've
you?
only ever thought of them as nothing more than speed bumps. Um,
So you're not running them as detachments with the
I don't
Seaguard.
think detachment gives you really that much of a benefit.
Okay.
Because unfortunately the detachment rules in this edition, like if they get shot, right, and there's only 10 of them and they run away, they're panicking the main unit.
True.
And that used to not be a thing, but now that it is a thing, that's a worry, right? Because then you whoops, I rolled 11. Like, god damn it. If I didn't have this goddamn detachment here, they'd been fine. So I see them as like kind of like speed bump chaff units, try to get them out there far enough ahead to where, they're there. Maybe somebody, tries to shoot your 45-point unit. And if they do, perfect. All right. Even if they disappear, that's fine too. You can have those 45 points.
Hmm.
You didn't shoot the thing that you should have. So
Yeah, you can make 45 points back pretty easily.
that's how I feel about them. Really, I don't know. I think this list has to just have a ton of shooting in it. It's got to have a ton of shooting. A you
Yeah.
come to me kind of scenario. I think you load up on bolt throwers.
Well, I
Uh,
mean, probably yeah. Throw out, get a phoenix or two, and
mm,
that's what runs out ahead and flanks, and you just like deal with these while I shoot you.
right.
Yeah, that's true. Um, Lion Guard. I've been thinking a lot more about Lion Guard. I still think that I'd rather just have white lions.
Probably.
I think the biggest part is the whole thing that they can accept in a challenge, but they can't issue a challenge
Right.
as a unit.
Right.
That's what bugs me the most. Um, yeah, I thankfully it's just they're just beefed up, so maybe I'll take a few and I'll give them like I actually know what I might do. Maybe I'll take some white lions, like a small unit, and put do the black lion cloaks. Do you remember in the end times when the Phoenix King died? Core Hill and the other ones they since they failed in their mourning, they dyed the cloaks of their pelts black.
Mm.
So maybe I'll do something like that with the unit just to signify it, just to have an option, or I'll just do like a different plume or something fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I like the idea of kit bashing them up, but like yeah,
Well, if you want them, I've been thinking about this, by the way.
okay.
I have a bunch of like 3D printed white lions that are too small for my army now because they're not at like that 10% more. So I'm not going to use them. And so they would probably make some good like woodsmen,
Well,
for you, something like
that's
that. They'll look a little different.
that's why I bought the white lion box. I'm gonna kit bash, put bows on them and everything.
There
So
you go.
thank you, but yeah, I already have like 70 white lions now, so I'm like
Yeah,
I'm getting witch elf
I'm gonna
levels of
bring it up.
crazy.
Yeah, we'll see if Luke wants them. So
Oh yeah, he might. Yeah, he'd be
get a
very
get,
keen.
get a, and there's 15 of them. Get yourself a nice unit right there.
There you
So,
go. That said, the opposite of this page of Lion Guard, which I'm like, is Tracy and Woodsman's, which, like I said, I'm gonna kit bash quite a few of these bad boys because, oh boy, I love them,
yeah,
man. Like, yeah, just skirmish. Don't give them ambush. Give them scouts. Ambush is a mistake on them.
yeah. Ambush I think is a mistake
Yes,
unless you have that rule that adds +1 or -1.
yeah. Scouts are good. Ambush is just it costs points, and it's always gonna be a mistake because as soon as you fail that first one, they're not gonna be effective in the game. Um, I'm kind of curious. What's the Lion cloaks? Okay, they take war bows. Yeah, I always give them war bows. I'm torn on the heavy armor versus light armor. I guess maybe if I made one more melee focused, I'd put the heavy on. I don't know. Depends how I was running them. Skirmish is good. Move through cover is good. They can't take any sort of standard, which is a shame. Even if it was like a 25.1, I'd be like that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I get it. And then they have to buy their lion cloaks. So
hmm Well, they are. The thing. The power comes from the skirmish, right?
yeah, 100%.
So not only do you buy those line coats, which makes you harder,
-1 non-magic shooting
right? And then you're a infantry
or
level
armor, I should say.
skirmisher, so you're further -1, right?
Yeah, so you -1 to
So
shot, extra armor.
plus you're probably in the woods with them, right? So you're behind light cover or whatever you want to call it, right? So you're not going to get shot. Just you're not going to get shot.
That's fair.
So yeah.
Yeah, I rate those pretty highly. War Lions, I'm excited. I think they're going to be good because I think you and I nailed it perfectly when we were talking through it that they're annoying enough that you want to shoot them, but they're
Mhm.
so inexpensive in units of 2 that it's wasting shots to kill them.
Right. hmm
Uh,
You need to have stuff like that in your army. You just that
yeah.
can touch the flanks. And if it does go into some other like real like even like let's say you got 5 Illyrian Reavers, right? If that lion, the 2 of those lions get the charge off on them,
Oh yeah, the win.
you know, that's not good for them.
Yeah.
They don't want that. They don't want that noise. Even I mean they may even kill them back, but they're going to get that unit torn up. So I don't know. I wish they had 2 wounds. They'd be off the charts good if
Oh,
they
they'd be
had
way
2.
too good if they had 2 wounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
So I
and the
mean,
thing
if you can have
is,
a saber tusk, right, which is just a bigger, bigger lion, I don't know. I guess that's why it has the extra wounds. So, but I swear to God, when we get Kislev, and I know we're going to get Kislev at some point,
those bears
and they
better
have
2
snow
wounds.
leopards, and those snow
Ooh.
leopards are 2 wounds, I'm going to be screaming about something. I'm not happy. All right. So hear me now, GW.
How come this cat is 2 wounds and this cat is
Right.
2 wounds and this
I
cat
want
is
an
1 wound?
explanation. I want the like that. The evolutionary caveman chart, right? I want to see that chart. I want to
Yeah.
see why this big lion
Oh,
here is.
it's because these ones are domesticated.
Okay, that's all
Yeah,
right.
like the snow leopards, they're just around, and then the
Yeah.
the the ogre ones, they're just being fed scraps. Like they're still fighting for their life.
Wispy elves, wispy elven lions.
Yep.
Yeah.
And yeah, they'll kill most war machines. I think
Yeah.
2 attacks each. Weapons go 5. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then there's the Merworm, the beloved Merworm. I know yours is printed. Lovely. Mine's in here. When I feel like dealing with it, I can't wait. Can't wait. It's shame because the more I look at it, the more I'm convinced that the Frost Phoenix is better to do
For the
this
points.
for the
It is.
points to do the same role. It's quicker. It's more
Mhm.
exciting.
I think you have to look at the Merworm in terms of how you're going to play it, because you're going to play a Phoenix much differently
Yes.
than what you're going to play the Merworm, right? And so if you're using the Merworm more as like a defensive unit to stay next to your archers or your Sea Guard,
Mm-hmm.
then it becomes a thing where you get that thing into combat with whatever tries to touch your archers or finally gets to them, right? And now they've got a pretty damn big monster to contend with, which is giving them -1 to wound on your already toughness 4 Sea Guard. And now you got some staying power, right? So is that a lot of points for that
Sure.
privilege? Sure. But I think that's where the play is. I think if you're trying to like send it up the flanks or some shit like that, um, I don't know. It's probably going to be a cannonball magnet as well.
Yeah.
So how long is it going to stick around there? I don't know, but at least you're not blasting my Death Star of Sea Guard, right?
It's true. I wish it had some sort of other like aura to buff or something, like +1 leadership or something, because it's like this cool ass thing that like for Seaguard in the Seaguard garrison only.
For me, all it needed was what it already had in previous editions. Give the damn thing a 5+ regen save.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden you're talking, right? So
It's fair. That's
it's got
fair.
more of a role. It can take a little bit more punch, before it drops. So
That's good. Well, how much do you think the Arcane Journal really influences positively towards the basic rules of the High Elves we've been playing with for a year?
Oh, I think it's huge. I think it's mostly huge in terms of the items that you're getting.
We went extensive about the items already, so they're good.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we talked in terms of Bow of the Seafarer on a unit of Sisters of Avalor.
Yeah, it can fit on the High Sister. She can take
Right.
it.
Dude. You just gave that unit that's already,
crazy
probably
strong,
the best thing in the High Elf book, an extra bolt thrower.
Yep.
For 50 points, not 80 points, which is what the bolt thrower costs. 50 points, right?
Yep.
Now we're freaking talking here.
Yep.
That you've got your Ring of Furies that you can put on champions. You got a champion that can take a 25-point unit. I don't see how you don't give him Ring of Fury.
No, you're right. You're right. I mean,
if on the off chance I get that thing off in combat, then I could be proven wrong once I play some games, and maybe the points be better elsewhere, or just not even spent at all. But I don't know. Like, come at me, bro, with that that Warriors of Chaos challenge.
Yeah, I'm just gonna crush you right away.
My initiative's going off first, and as far as I know, you can't. I don't know. Can you try to dispel in a challenge? I have no idea.
I have no idea how that's gonna work. There's no FAQ on that. You have to figure it out. Like I'd be very adamant as the player with the champion with that to be like, where's this fight happening? Because I think it says I think it says center of the board.
Mm-hmm.
So you deploy first, then you do that. So it's okay, now measure. Are you within range or not? Okay, you have a faded, I guess.
Yeah. So it's it could go off. I guess it's not. If somebody can dispel it, maybe not as powerful as I originally intended.
I mean, here's the thing. I don't know, because technically it's outside the scope of the game, so who knows what's going to be rolled, if it will be. That might be a TO decision.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like if you're casting something, you should have a chance to dispel it, right? But
yeah, you probably should.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bow of the Seafarer, Star Lance, Banner Resilience. You're going to see those. They can go anywhere. You're going to see them in every High Elf list now. I still think the Woodsman's Axe is too expensive, but I know you love it.
I do love it, but what is the White Sword? Where let me see what this is, an original item.
Yep.
And the White Sword is 70 points, and it has Monster Slayer.
Yep. And doesn't strike last.
2 hands, strike last.
Oh, the White Sword is strike last?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So, but this is only
What's the strength?
infantry or chariot only. So this is
What's the strength on it?
strength plus strength plus 3, AP minus 2.
Okay, this is AP4, strength plus 3. I don't know. I feel it's too expensive, but I want to be proven wrong and see its glory rise to the top.
Yeah, yeah,
Especially because it's just called the Woodsman. Like, there's the Star Lance, the Bow of the Seafarer. Here's this
yeah.
axe I left in a stump.
Right. Yeah.
It can kill a dragon. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
um, tell you what, I do like the arcane items too. Like, I love the ability to shut down magic so hard, even though it's a lot of single use stuff. But
Yeah, you're paying a lot of points for that
they're
privilege, which you should, by the
yeah.
way.
Oh yeah. They're fun. I'm gonna explore them more every time I play a traditional game with no real comp involved for magic. So now I agree with you. This arcane journal, I love it because it's twofold. The notes it hits for strong additional things in our armies is fantastic. The parts where it's lacking and people are poo-pooing, my love of the setting and the way they've structured this arcane journal, and I know you're the same thing here, that they gave us this baseline for 2 kingdoms, that it carries it, that I'm like, this to me, this arcane journal is a pure success.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's the best one. I'm a little biased on that, and I haven't really played it with other ones. I know the Orcs and Goblin one is good. I didn't mind the Dwarf one. Granted, there's only like one of the Dwarf armies I truly liked, whereas this one I like both for different reasons. What about you? Where would you put this? Because you're an Orcs Goblin player. That is one of the best ones out there, just generally speaking. Where would you rate this?
If I'm being objective and go with my head, not my heart, I'd probably put it in the middle.
Yeah, but you're pure heart, Neil. Where's it going?
Rules. Now, if I'm going heart, which is where I am with this, it's probably one of the best ones because I just love the way, the Orcs and Goblins one could be any army, right?
Yeah.
It's not like this tribe or that tribe. The troll thing is pretty cool, right?
Sure.
But to have, and I'm such a biased high elf guy anyway.
Yeah. We should be.
Like,
They're the
like
best.
we've got our nations and everything. Like it spurred so much creativity. That's where like I get my true joy from the hobby is the creativity and the ability to imagine something and then put that imagination into the tabletop. That's what I love, and that's what this gives me.
Yeah.
And it also gives me an outline to take and do my own thing with as well, which maybe I did.
We'll talk about that here in a second as we wrap up our thoughts here. Yeah, it's sparked so much creativity out of me and you specifically, and then a couple people just kind of clung on to our cloaks as we started running, and like, oh my god, this is madness. Let's have some fun. But yeah, this is absolutely greatness because I think I said right now, like, we've joked and we've seen memes of it where list building right now in Age of Sigmar is, we used to be able to choose a steak. All right, how do you want that prepared? Medium rare, medium? Do you want it, do you want a blue? Okay, cool. Hey, do you want what type of vegetable you want? Do you want asparagus or do you want potatoes tonight? Okay, perfect. All right. What kind of wine do you want to pair with that? Like that's what we were doing for Age of Sigmar 2.0 and a little bit into 3.0. And now you walk up and I'll take the number 8. That's how you order.
Or how do you like your steak well done? Oh, well, I like it medium rare. Oh, I'm sorry, you get it well done. That's the only option you have is well done.
Yeah.
I don't really want well done. Too bad. Sorry.
If you want to play this game, you're playing it well done. So like having lost a lot of the fun of Age of Sigmar with the not being able to be that creative list building that we used to have, because like I think everyone's, and it's not to bemoan and push a point, but like list building in current Sigmar is just not fun and engaging.
Right.
And it's probably because of the simplicity of the rewrites and everything, which has benefited other parts of the game. So that said, Old World kept you and I very busy on writing lists, engaging. How can I tweak things? Like agonizing over 100 points.
Right.
We used to do that in Sigmar. Now we do it here.
Sure. And even then, like you can build, like let's say you want to build that Seaguard list. You play with it for a long time. Like, okay, I want to do something different. Okay, I'm going to build this, this Kracian list, right? So I play that for a little while. Now I'm gonna build a Grand Army list, but I'm gonna I've gotten so good with this stuff. Maybe I just want to limit myself. I would see what I can do if I just made an infantry only army, right? see what with the elite iron, all the sword masters, all the whatever, right? There's so many different ways to build. Or like, oh, I want double. I'm going to try and cram as many monsters as I can into this list, right?
Yep.
Do that too. Like there's just so many things and so many combinations of things that just that's where like.
And this book has elevated that for both of us.
Mhm,
The fun I was having with list building is now tenfold.
mhm.
Like I said, I think I've told you too. I used to just I'd have one high elf list. I'd be like, let's tweak and have fun. Now I have three, one for
Yeah.
each of the types of armies I can build with it.
Mhm.
And like I don't do that. Like if I look at my other armies, I just build the one I like, and I'll tweak within it. But the high elf one, I'm like, man, I want to run everything. That's why I bought more high elves that I technically didn't need, but I wanted.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. Okay. Arcane Journal. Reality. B plus A minus in our hearts. S plus
Mhm.
plus gold and shiny. Limited foil edition. Number 1 of 1.
Right.
um,
100%.
I'm gonna go to like the grading sites for like baseball cards. I'm gonna get this book graded and sealed. Kidding.
Mint.
Mint. Um, yeah, so let's talk briefly because this will probably be our next podcast. So, like, and once again, a little caveat that I'll be traveling. So if I'm just exhausted, we may not have the podcast out on time. We may take a week off. I'll put it out in social medias. Um, but I think regardless, the next podcast, Neil, do you want to talk about what we're gonna talk about?
I think we do because, like, there's I'm still
It's
tweaking some things here and there, and love to get your feedback on it too. Whenever you get a free moment to look through it and all that.
yeah.
But yeah, I think I would love to do that.
Okay. So next podcast, you're gonna listen to me and Neil show you our high elf armies of infamy for our two most beloved kingdoms.
Mhm.
We've been back and forth, like I said, big rewrites. Like you picked apart mine, I questioned things on yours, so like it's been fun. Like I've taken a few days back. I look forward to rereading mine and going, need to change this. I think the worst thing that we'll probably have is points. I think our points will probably be off no matter what we do.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, that's been the hardest thing for me. I've been up and down and stuff with a few of my units in particular. So I tell you what, for those of you who poo-pooed GW's point system and everything, and I really wish I had their points algorithm that would have helped.
oh yeah, yeah.
you know, but like I'm just kind of comparing this and that, and just kind of seeing it. It's not an easy job. It's not, especially if you don't have the algorithm. I knew somebody back in the day had figured out the algorithm for the points for older versions. I
Yeah.
can't. I almost even went looking for it, but screw that. We'll just go with whatever and see what we come up with. But yeah, that'll be a fun thing though, especially for engagement. So if you guys are listening to this or you're watching on YouTube, leave us a comment after you see it. If you see some unit that we have up there, like, bro, I would never pay those points for that.
Yeah.
That's honestly like I want that feedback. And I might just be like, no, you're so wrong, or I might be like, okay, well, that's 20 people who just told me this is shit, I need to
Okay, well maybe.
maybe at that point we need to start listing, but
Yeah, I think the goal would be I want to have like so people can figure it out. Mine's the Kingdom of Illyrian. I'll be open about it. It's already gonna be underpowered because I'm focusing on Illyrian Reavers a lot.
mhm.
But I would like to have it set into a solid state of where I can take it to club night and people are like, okay, cool, that's neat. And it's not overwhelming, but it's not
Yeah.
just getting run over. Like honestly, to the point where I'm like, hey, I'm playing, not even telling them that I have special things, but like
Mhm.
if I can go to club night and play it, and the opponent across from me is like, oh, that's neat, that's cool, awesome, and
Yeah.
not going, ooh,
Yeah.
that means we hit the right spot.
Right.
Because like that's where I want it to be, a casual play. Like
Yeah, if you
maybe we'll
smack
tweak
somebody
it.
off, right,
Yeah,
then
maybe
you
we'll
get that
tweak it.
little order. And the neat thing about this is we just go on, we change it.
Yeah, it's ours. It's fine. There's no.
Because I don't plan like I plan on printing this book out. It's also going to have rules for like a map campaign and everything
And
like that.
we'll have a PDF that people can
Yeah.
use it too. So like people can play games with it. Like I I'm not gonna say, but I think Neil and I can get them to a point where a TO and an actual tournament would look at it and go, yeah, that's fine. I'll allow that.
Yeah, I mean, it should. The hope is that we get it to a point where it feels almost like one of the legacy armies, right? For me,
Yes. I would like it. I
so
would like it to be a 3-2 feeling army at best.
yeah. Only these legacy armies will be updated. So
Yes, with supported rules and models. So get ready
exactly.
for Warhammer High Elves Arcane Journal Strength Hammer version coming soon.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Neil, any other closing thoughts on High Elves besides the fact that they're the best army ever and we love
Yeah,
them?
I think we're going on what, maybe 5 or 6 weeks of talking about them. So, yeah.
Couple more to go. Couple more to
So
go,
I
everybody.
don't see this train stopping. So this is Strength Hammer / High Elf talk. So
Everyone, well, listen. When they start giving us news and info on Beastmen and Wood Elves, you'll probably hear us talk about those a little more. So don't worry.
mhm, mhm,
All right.
yes,
Well, until next time, everybody out there, stay Stormcast strong, happy hobbying, and go buy some High Elves because they're the best army. And happy birthday again, Neil.
yeah.